Hundreds of social media accounts linked to China are targeting President Trump. Joining us to discuss is Rex Lee, cybersecurity advisor at MySmartPrivacy. He has advised major corporations and government agencies on matters of cybersecurity and tech espionage by the Chinese regime. So, Rex, good to have you here. Now, the Foundation for Defense of Democracies has found over 330 accounts, not just targeting Trump, but also Japanese Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi, human rights organizations, and other countries, and all this to push pro-Chinese Communist Party narratives. So, by your expertise, are these operations effective at all when it comes to its influence or swaying public views?
Yes, actually, I was an advisor for the U.S. Congress and Senate for the Facebook Cambridge Analytica scandal involving Mark Zuckerberg, and like through that scandal, these types of platforms, including AI-driven platforms like OpenAI, can be they can be weaponized for political purposes through the behavioral data that the apps are collecting on the individuals. Then, in that case, targeted political ads were pushed out to people trying to influence them to vote for either Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump at the time. Well, that same technology has been weaponized, and now it's infused with AI. So if you mix that in with China's 50-cent army, for example, then they can use automated bots. So you can set up 130 accounts, but automated bots can then push that content out to 1 billion plus people in milliseconds across multiple social media platforms.
So is there any way for users to discern that these are influence operations by China?
No, it's very hard for especially average people. I mean, people in the community, the cybersecurity community like myself, we can see it, but really, they come in like targeted ads. So what a lot of people, you have to really understand how the architecture for a targeted ad works, because it's the same technology that pushes this information out to billions of people. Google invented what's called an ad tech AI quantum algorithmic control platform for targeted advertising back in 2013, which they later integrated with AI. So when everybody asks me, so if information's taken off this device or from a social media account, or I have access to a social media account in this case, then the same technology that can send me a targeted ad anywhere in the world, even in my home, 24 hours a day, that same technology can be utilized to spread mis and disinformation through the core. But instead of getting a targeted ad, like in the Facebook Cambridge Analytica scandal, I get a political message or even a political ad. You don't know who these PACs are either. So a PAC could be set up to send political messaging, and they can actually buy ad time on Facebook, TikTok, even the new US TikTok USDS company set up by Oracle, any platform. So you can actually do it through ads and pay for the propaganda to be spread. And we've seen this in real time. Just a couple of, about 2 or 3 weeks ago, Meta was in the news for ignoring the threats about Chinese scam ads. So you can do it through either like a Chinese bot army influence program, or you can go as far as to spend money on ads and reach everybody with the same targeted advertising technology that supports these social media platforms.
So if you're saying that you can simply just pay for these ads, I mean, in your view, should technology companies play a bigger role in protecting Americans from these influence campaigns?
Well, you got to look at them. They're not technology companies. You know, Meta, TikTok, they're data brokers who build surveillance and data mining platforms to compete in the information trafficking industry driven by the data-driven targeted advertising business models that are rooted in surveillance capitalism. It's their business to conduct surveillance, data mining on you, figure out what your behavioral data patterns are, and then sell it to targeted advertisers around the world. The system when weaponized through a civil military fusion program, the system now is weaponized for military purposes. And that happens. That all these tech companies doing business in China have to give their IP and all their information to the Chinese government to do business there. Well, through China's civil military fusion program, they just simply weaponize it. Instead of sending a targeted ad for tennis shoes to you, they send propaganda that looks like an advertisement to you.
So you said earlier that these operations are rather effective. I mean, what is the point then? What's the point of these operations? Is it to shape policy outcomes that favor Beijing?
Well, I'll give you an example because this is a great analysis for what happened with Facebook, Cambridge Analytica, and why it's so dangerous. They already know that somebody who's going to vote for Trump, who's a MAGA, is going to vote for Trump. Period. Same thing like back in 2016. You weren't going to change anybody's mind on the Democratic Party side to vote for Hillary Clinton. But they can target this and partition the targeted ads all the way down to the county or city level geographically through geofence technology. So that means that what they want to do is that 20% of those independent voters that can move the needles in counties that Trump or Hillary Clinton could win in, or any, Trump and Biden, let's fast forward it, and including in the Japanese elections, they can take those independent voters and manipulate only a small portion of people to move the needle to where they win either that one county or another. So that's what they're doing. That's what happened with Facebook Cambridge Analytica. They were only looking to move the needles with independents in key counties that were basically a coin flip. Yes, so they're very effective, by the way. They work very well.
Okay, let me just ask you one last thing. How do we stop it?
Well, that's where we're going to need changes in the law. First of all, anybody on a computer, a smartphone, a tablet PC, a server that's connected by Android, iOS, and Windows is connected to this ad tech AI quantum algorithmic control platform. When militarized, you can do a lot of horrifying things with it, as we're seeing in real time. So there needs to be some new laws regarding the information trafficking industry and targeted advertising to decouple critical infrastructure from it unless people want to volunteer for it, instead of being coerced through the contract of adhesion that supports their device, meaning if they don't want to participate in targeted advertising or surveillance and data mining, they can simply disagree with the contract without being penalized, such as not being able to use the products and services you pay for. So we're actually being forced into this ecosystem. There's no way out when you're coerced into it, unless they give you the alternative to turn down the contract, say, I don't want to participate in targeted advertising and surveillance and data mining. Then you should be able to say no to that, and then your device is decoupled from that platform.
So to your point that laws need to be changed, I just want to make a final note here, food for thought for our lawmakers, that this problem essentially does not exist within China. Perhaps it's unique to the United States. I'm not saying definitively, but in China, there is no such thing as foreign influence, right? All right, I'll just leave it there for today. Thank you so much for speaking with us today, Rex.
Okay, bye.
This fall, Italy will host a competition celebrating one of its most iconic and beloved desserts. Competitors